Salutations. It's currently Monday, February 10th. If you're seeing this, you have a bunch of codes that are being activated. So, I would relax if it were me doing that, but I'm not the one with codes that are being activated. I mean, I do have codes and I do get activated pretty frequently, but in this instance, the thing that I'm doing, because my code's activated, is give you the following codes, which will activate you. Bear with me. And remember, there's every chance that you stumbled across this despite not having any codes in the first place, in which case it simply won't activate you and you can move on with your life, and that's fine. That's normal. You're normal. I won't make it weird if you don't. I'd like to ask the ancestors that these particular activation codes be blessed. May they only go towards heroic service in defense of the biosphere. Because, the biosphere is in imminent danger because of industrialization and carbon capture and all that stuff. And yeah, may this message only reach those who it matters for in some way. So the first card we have is the Charred King. And so the king in this case just sort of suddenly died due to spontaneous combustion. No more king. Darn. That's one element. I've got three elements here that I want to work with. The second element we have here is the Eighth of Summer. See that? Okay, we got a cauldron going. We got a witch's brew of some kind. There's been a lot of preparation happening, a lot of different energies being tossed back and forth. I brought some, you brought some. Caretaker of the Stars brought some. And it's all kind of being mixed together. We're going to prepare a feast for this king, or would have if he had not spontaneously combusted. So let's see what the third element here is. So the third element is the Winter Nights. Specifically the first Winter Nights. There are 3 total. It's the Winter Night 1. And I mean, that'll get us started as far as conflict goes. This dude was supposed to prevent the king from spontaneously combusting, but whoopsie, the king spontaneously combusted. That's pretty awkward for the knight. Uh-oh, what's he gonna do? Well, what's been happening, what else is in this scene? There's this witch's brew. Gonna have to talk to some witches. So, let's get a clarifying card determining what the knight will find when he asks the witches, hey, what the hell was in your brew? Well, I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and get real high and I scream at the top of my lungs, what's going on? Well, what do you want to know? We've got a song for every occasion, say the witches, to the knight whose job was to prevent the king from spontaneously exploding, possibly due to witchcrafts. We've got a song for every different possible occasion. Are we happy that the king is dead? Are we glad? Are we thrilled? Is it the best thing that could have ever happened to us? If so, that's one song. If, on the other hand, we're the Winter Nights, all we hear is a bunch of treacherous Radio Gaga. Radio Goo-Goo. Radio Gaga. Because we, the Knights, of course, just see all of this as some kind of mysterious ritual. The 8th of Autumn is not the same as the 8th of Summer. The 8th of Autumn was a witch's brew. The 8th of Summer was the witch's brew. The 8th of Autumn? Buddy, that's a bug rave. You got a rave of bugs happening. Possibly crickets. Boy, that'd be embarrassing. Imagine putting together your EDM set and all you get back is a rave full of crickets. Well, I don't have to imagine. Odin, what's my role in all this? Says the Winter Lady, who's a treacherous old bag. Probably brewed the witch's brew herself that probably caused the king to spontaneously combust. It's probably all her fault. So what does the Winter Lady have to say for herself? Well, it's the 9th of summer. I've been sewing all my life. I've been sewing so diligently. You have no idea how diligently I've been sewing. And now, says the Winter Lady, who probably killed the king. I'm not saying she definitely did that, but I am saying she had the means, motive, opportunity, and clearly stated intention to straight up murderize the now quite dead king, who is not alive, and that is, as far as anyone can tell, because of magic. Magic which was found, or at least discussed, in the Book of Songs, and magic which was seen brewing right from the beginning at the bug rave. It was seen by all the bugs. So the knight hears all of this and says, I have 2 questions. Number 1, how? And the Winter Lady says, how? With the hate in my heart, says the killer. With the hate that burns, an ever-burning flame all the way through my gay little heart, says the Winter Lady, who probably, definitely, absolutely had the king killed using magic, which is really just a way of plausibly, deniably sending instructions to your subordinates about possibly criminal actions. But possibly not. Possibly it's actually spirits. But the Winter Knight thinks it's probably just crime. That's what the Winter Knight thinks. But the Winter Lady thinks otherwise. So the question becomes, who's smarter? But that wasn't my question, says the Winter Knight. Darn, that was my question. I had 2 questions. One was how, you've answered. Second is why. For my God, says the Winter Lady. That's a good one, says the Knight. Dare I ask, which God? The caretaker of the stars, who created us all and watches over us. Thank you, caretaker of the stars, for creating us all and watching over us. You're not responsible for what we do at all, says the Winter Lady. I release you from any and all responsibility, but... And she does sound like John Hinckley Jr. addressing Jodie Foster when she says this. I did do this for you. I think, says the Winter Lady, that this world suffers from Rosh Katan. I think this world needs more Rosh Gadol. You see, Paul was the smart one. of the twins in There Will Be Blood. Paul went to Daniel Day-Lewis right at the beginning and says, okay, I have something. You will want that something. Once you know what the something is, it's not really worth anything, but I'd prefer if you didn't think I was stupid. The king remains dead. My god is in the sky somewhere. Over LA, I assume. They, treat magicians a little better down there. Or so I hear. The knight writes in his case file, fucking, I don't know, man. He died of spontaneous combustion. There is a suspicious local coven. Something, 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 the stars? I don't fucking know. And that, combined with the hate in our hearts, is good enough for his boss, the Winter Lady. So, glad we got that all cleared up. After all, our next decision will have to be which song to sing in church. Our God would hate it if we lied in church. That's, one trick about using the cult background as opposed to the gang background. I guess we'll have to talk about our memories of the beautiful, exquisite, phenomenal, glorious, unbelievable, destructive, terrifying Bugrave.